for him to accept, to normalize the relationship between Kenya and Somalia. But I want to go further to ask my friends from Qatar, because I am look at my face, I am the one following you. Forget about the rest have come to you, but I am invisible. I know everything that you do. I'm also very good. I have a good network in Paris, in Hague. I have it in Europe. We know what you do. I want to ask Qatar. Me, I am, please. Some people are telling me all this. I want to ask the government of Qatar, and the ambassador is here. Before you fly, I sent you a link to listen to me. Tell your government to tell Farimajo to remove a case of ICJ from the International Court of Justice. Because you are the ones paying for their legal fees. You are the ones paying for their accommodation. You are the ones paying for their food. You are the ones paying for their gifts that they pay for their women and their families when they go to The Hague. I am not a diplomat. I am an activist. I am not Macharia, PS, or Madame Rachel Omamo, or Ababu Namam. I am an independent international activist. And I support any African country, including Somalia, if it is being unfairly attacked. I want to make my position clear, Miriam, through this program, that I am not employed by the Kenyan government. Therefore, my words, my organization, the Pan-African Forum UK Limited, stands to defend Africa. And if I see something wrong, I say it. I don't corroborate my statements. I had said it was wrong for Somalia to carry this case to the ICJ. It was wrong for Qatar to pay for Somalia to go and accuse Kenya. But now we thank Somalia, we thank Qatar, we thank the government of Kenya for having accepted to bring about a good relationship between Somalia, Kenya, and Qatar. But I go a step further, that I ask the Emir of Qatar to prevail over President Farimajo, that the case of Kenya Indian Ocean oil blocks will provoke a very big war in the Indian Ocean. Therefore, I call upon the people of Somalia, and the president of Somalia, the government, to re-evaluate the decision, remove the case of ICJ. I am going tomorrow to write to both countries as Pan-African Forum chairman. I write to both countries asking them to remove the case from ICJ. Then we can now sort this case locally. Yes, the relationship has come, but we don't want a relationship where two countries will break again. We want a long time relationship. Like we have stayed as brothers. When I speak, some people tell me, why do you speak about Somalia? Uganda, where I was born, whose brothers and sisters of mine are the ones defending Somalia. They are defending Mogadishu in Sector 1. In fact, the biggest number of the boys that I brought from Ituri Forest, from Rikwamba Forest, the LRA combatants that I brought back to Uganda, who were integrated in the UPDF, are the ones trained, very highly trained, are the ones in Mogadishu. And I thank President Museveni for the good work you have done on Somalia. Brother, we can disagree on other things, but Your Excellency, I agree with you on this. It is a noble cause for Africa that you have done. I will never, and I hear anyone in the international community, anywhere, harassing Uganda for having gone to Somalia, I will stand up and defend. I don't care whether you are Mr. Bob Wine the Guitar Man or you are Bessie. It is not my problem. Your problems are minute. They have stood slow, too low. For you can. They are very, very minute because you don't understand internationalism. You can't condemn Museveni for having sent troops to Somalia. You must be a wrong man with a wrong head. Without Museveni sending troops to Somalia, where would Somalia be today? Where would Kenya and the rest of the neighbors? We would have died here on the streets of Nairobi like a chicken. Therefore, you can't corner me, put me in a corner to accept you because you want to please George Soros and tell Matsanga that I should also support you on such stupid things. Not me. I support President Museveni's move of taking troops to Somalia. That one, he did a great job for we people of East Africa and Africa at large. Therefore, I have a share, and I'm addressing this media. Give me another 3 minutes. I have a share as an East African whose troops are in Mogadishu. I am entitled to talk about my brothers because they will leave me orphans. They will leave us, they have left us widows. They have died for that country. Today I'm pleased, very happy with Qatar. And I want to tell Qatar government that that minister lock him up properly. You know, for you, the Gulf states, you have another way of cutting people's hands. When they have caught you a thief, they cut one hand. I don't know which punishment you will give him. I am not suggesting anything on national television, but you have arrested him for misusing public funds, giving intelligence officers abroad in Africa. There are two countries. One intelligence officer is in Somalia who used to receive money from Qatar. Another one is in Southern Africa. I will tell you the name. Check. There's someone there in those southern parts of Africa who destabilizes Africa. And I've known them. So we thank you so much, people of Qatar. I'm not a diplomat. Please don't put me any near the list of I am an international dead, very bad boy. And you touch me, I touch you. I will come for you. You touch me, I will also come with my teams. They are there. We are only investigative men. We come, we look for Ocampo. We look for people like Ocampo. Yes, who go on stealing people's money. Then they say they are chief prosecutors. We look for people like Ocampo who called Uganda and only investigate blacker people and leave we brown people, leave brown Bantu people, and take on the blacker people to the court and sentence on the blacker people with darker rural community. Medium, the rural community of Uganda picked up arms to fight. The Bantu community in Uganda went to destroy northern Uganda. We should have had two people being sentenced together in The Hague. The ICC is stupid. Can I repeat that statement? The International Criminal Court is rubbish. It's stupid. It's the most stupid court that you can ever talk about. Silly, stupid, very stupid court. Where is the evidence that the young man I was going to bring him with the generals who are in Kampala now. He told me to bring the helicopter. He was going to run away. That young man gave me his wife and his children. They are in Uganda. I brought them ahead to go and remove him. He was abducted. He should have stood with another guy who went to dig a grave and put northerners, put soil whether they are crying for help. Shut up! Shut up! Which court is this? That court, Israel should actually damage that court. Me under that court is the most dangerous court. And I'm going to create a program this afternoon simply to answer that court. We are going to make an appeal. I have instructed Ayena to take an appeal. We want to give evidence. Uganda has healed. We people in northern Uganda have healed. There is no war anymore. We don't want sentencing. Unbiased. Where are the people who are shooting? Where are the people who are putting people in the camps? Where are they? Erare was killing, but where were these guys? Were they shooting with water? I want those answers in the next appeal. Yes. You hadn't seen my other side yet, Mr. Secretary. Yes. We want answers. I don't like ICC at all. Even President Museveni, if it is taken there, I'll defend him. Let it be very clear, because his small boys that will go around that they are collecting evidence. Or intelligence, what intelligence do you collect? You with shoes that have you. Some of us have been in this in Uganda that you are sent to collect intelligence in London about Matanga. What Matanga about what? What have I done? I brought you peace. I was conquered my money. I was not paid even allowance. When you would have killed me for nothing. But I brought peace. I'm happy, man. So if you want to hear from me myself. There's no shortcut here. Hear from me. The court ICC is rubbish, stupid, obnoxious. Africans should leave ICC. In Kenya, if you don't listen to me, you are going to end up in chaos soon. You still have cases hanging in Kenya in the ICC. Don't think that Ogeto will go and talk to my friend. Karim might not even be the chief prosecutor. Because the way George Soros has positioned his money is threatening to withdraw funding the ICC. ICC will collapse. I don't know why Africa, President Uhuru Kenyatta went and paid $1 million for the commencement of African. I want the studio to record it. I hope you recorded this part. $1 million, all the parts that have been talked. $1 million for creation of African court. My fellow Africans, you are a disgrace. You have Article 127 to leave this court. But you are useless. You don't want to leave, you want to stay there. Now the court is coming again. The woman is, before she leaves, she wants to live with somebody. Did she produce anybody here? Did she produce anybody here? Did that woman produce any Kenyan? Did she produce Ruto or Uhuru or anybody? Did she? Why should a woman come and say she wants to go with somebody? That is what they are planning. There. Don't turn on the people here. That Ruto spends most of the time attacking wrong people. Not attacking the office, the people there. That's what Fatou Bensouda wants to do. I've said it to you for you to know. Because the Uganda case has annoyed him. Where are the other people? Yes, the LRA killed. They killed people. But the other side also killed people. It's just fairness. Is that fairness? Mr. President, you refuse to pay my money. Now we have come to a point where we are going to appeal and win the appeal. We don't have money like you. You refuse to pay my allowances. $300,000. My money. If Konya had killed me, you would not have that peace. I brought the peace. You took my peace. You took the money. You took everything. You have taken everything from me. I've remained a person being laughed at as a refugee everywhere because of you. Even when I did a very good thing for you. Now, I take the opportunity to alert Africa to quit ICC. There is no friendship in ICC. Quit ICC. Under Article 127 of the Rome Statute. Call it a day. Let's meet tomorrow, the other day, but not now. Don't be there. Make an African court. That's my appeal. President Uhuru Kenyatta paid $1 million. I was there. I was in Addis Ababa with the president. I saw the check of $1 million from Kenya to create African Union, African Court of Justice and the Human Rights. Why are you wasting time? When people are on their own, you are going there to seek them to arrest you. Why? And those in Uganda, like Dr. Besige, correcting signatures to take your fellow people to ICC. That's wrong. Correct signatures take to East African Court of Justice or African Court of Justice. Ndugu, you have suffered. I've also suffered. But let's stand above. Let's not victimize our country by collecting signatures to take Museveni to the Hague. What will you gain? Nothing. Let's take signatures in Kampala court. I hate that place. I hate it. And I wish Israel, I'm talking to a few friends from Tel Aviv. That court there, hey, that court there, one of these days, that court there is a very bad court. You try Israel and we see. Let's see if Karim Khan can indict Israel. Watch out. Well, let a motto. We shall show you. I've enticed them. I've told them. That's a court which is very bad. So, my dear brothers and sisters on the panel, I've taken this to thank Qatar for bringing Somalia back to Africa. To thank Qatar for doing silent diplomacy to normalize the relationship with Somalia, between Kenya and Somalia. I love Somali people. They are my people, like they are in Kampala. For us in Kampala, our richest people are Somalis. We have never segregated you. In Kenya, the same. We live together. Remove this case. That's the only thing where things went wrong. Kenya is a very good country, a very humble country with a good president. A very good president who understands. Uhuru Kenyatta is a very tolerant man. Otherwise, if it was people like Moi, by now the army would be on the Indian Ocean. Let's not have that. Let's come back and talk as brothers. The border is not the destiny. The destiny is in people's lives. The destiny is you, not the border. Don't speak like people who tell me I'm a foreigner from Mars. Did I come from Mars? I wish I came from Mars or Venice. Maybe a Songa. Do I look like I came from Venice? And you call me a foreigner? Foreigner? Where? In Africa. When I eat the same chicken which Wetangula eats, then I become a foreigner.
And you speak the same language?
Yes. Wetangula is a Ugandan, masquerading as a Kenyan here. They come from Butiru. They came here a long time ago. So now they said they call me a foreigner. How? The only thing I've not done is to buy an identity card. Because I don't need it. Why should I buy an identity card? I have enough identities. I must feel like an East African. I must move like an East African. I'm saying this to wrap up all those things of Tanzania, Somalia, and then leave you to discuss. I'm an East African. I feel happy to see Kenyans going into Tanzania without their passports being checked. Madam Sululu, you have done very well. President Uhuru Kenyatta, thank you. When you reach the airport in Dar es Salaam, a Kenyan is more scrutinized than a Ugandan called Matanga. That behavior should stop. We are all East Africans. It's only a border that creates a problem. And I want to take this opportunity to say thank you very much. I'm very sorry if there are statements that I've made before on President Farimajo. I take them back. And you also, Farimajo, take your statement of calling me kafiri. You did. You said it in front of Dr. Zakaria Abid. Now I've told you. Dr. Zakaria Abid is my friend. And he told me. You know him, he sat near you. He sits near you. You called me kafiri, that I'm fat. Where is this fat kafiri coming from? This kafiri was talking because you are going to go to war. So I've forgiven you. And I hope you also forgive me. Now that the relationship is normalized, I will only pursue the case to be thrown, to be removed. Let's not allow the ICJ to make any ruling in September. Time is running against us. Let them not make a ruling that will create a war in the region. If you think I'm talking rubbish and making noise, you will ask me. September is very near. Let the ICJ make any silly ruling. We shall be in chaos. And I want to thank the two gentlemen from Qatar. I hope my information that I delivered, that you wanted, which you got, has helped you to clean your mess. But tell the emir to also look after people like us. Thank you. If I don't ask for myself, some other people will ask for themselves. Hey, Miriam, we also need to be smiling. I thank you very much. Miriam, I have canvassed the topics because this is an uncensored show. You have remained with the topic and people can reply to one of the statements or here that I've done. I submit.
All right, thank you so much. Daniel Vesonga, we know that the Emir has been a very strong supporter of President Farmajo. Matter of fact, the tiff that we were having with Somalia, Qatar every now and then has been mentioned in there. And so how can we trust this new role that Qatar has taken to mediate and try to bring peace between Kenya and Somalia? While it is a good thing, should we...
Miriam,
yeah.
Yes,
thank
you, Miriam. And of course, we've heard it from the horse's mouth. I believe Dr. Matsanga has a very in-depth understanding of this topic, and he has put there the facts as it is. And to me, Miriam, just to maybe give my humble submission, I think all this works for the best of Somalia, because in this stalemate, Somalia had more to lose than Kenya. For a matter of fact, Kenya has been the hallmark of the assistance that has been coming from outside to ensure that we do have peace and stability in Somalia. And therefore, a severing relationship with Kenya will have really suffered a setback on the side of Somalia in terms of insecurity and also even the stability of government. I think Farmajo is coming to realization that the only way forward is being acting in the right way and ensuring that we do have a legitimate leadership in Mogadishu. And Qatar, as Dr. Matsanga has said, it's a very, very good move. That is what they ought to have done from the very beginning. And it's really laudable because it's going to ensure that we do have regional integration. You saw the other day, Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan was in Kenya. So bringing Somalia into fold means that the region is going to be able to discuss the way forward and be able to put off these simmers of discontent and suspicion that has been going for a very long time. And of course, they have been having a great implication on the economies of the both countries. So I think to me, this really marks a very good coming days to come for Somalia and also Kenya, in essence.
Okay, thank you so much. And we know
But
that.
before we move further, Miriam, I want to tell you, and I want to tell the world, that Kenya did not sever a relationship with Somalia. Somalia severed relationship with Kenya. And that is the position that is there, every observer can see. Now we have come together. Somalia has realized that enough is enough. It can't be isolated. It has come back. It has normalized its relationship. And we thank the facilitators, Qatar, and other agencies that have worked behind silent to make sure that this relationship is back. Thank you.
Okay, Daniel, are you done with your statement?
Yeah. That was my input. I think it's a good move, and I believe the days to come will be punctuated with prosperity for both countries. But more specifically, Somalia is meant to benefit from this, because Kenya as a country, there was nothing we are going to lose apart from maybe our oil blocks, which were at the center of the controversy. But looking forward, I think it's a good move. Somalia need to have done it earlier on, and Qatar, of course, need to be lauded for taking such a bold step to really bring and reconcile these two nations.
Okay, thank you so much. Douglas Kirimi, why do you think Qatar chose to do that right now?
Thank you, Miriam, and thank you for that question. One thing we need to see from Qatari, these are people that have been funding the sympathizers of Al-Shabaab in Mogadishu, at Villa Somalia, Mohamed Farmajo. These are people that have been destabilizing our maritime crime in Indian Ocean. These are people.
Go ahead. I'm agreeing with what you're saying, actually.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. And I also think that part of a change of art from Qatari is also advised from the point of coming together and making sure that these countries coexist together, and also the people of Kenya and also the people of Somalia come together and also find a solution in terms of what we have had before, and also peaceful coexistence, and also common ambitions, that Kenya and Somalia cannot exist in isolation as neighbors and also good people, the way we've been before. And the issues that we've had in Kenya from Mogadishu are issues that can be amicably resolved without necessarily severing our diplomatic risks, our diplomatic connections with each other. And at the end of the day, when you look at what Qatar has been doing, Qatar has been at the forefront of making sure even the Arab nations, where they have a dissimilar relationship with each other, Qatar would go and get in together with other nations and bring an amicable solution to the same. So I believe, as an ally of Somalia, they've seen that Somalia stands to lose a lot, especially for what Kenya has been able to do for these past 30 years to the people of Kenya, and even beyond that years, the people of Somalia. So Qatar has been able to see that they need to salvage the image of Somalia outside Somalia, and also make sure that the people of Somalia, as their ally, they can be able to bring a solution that continues making sure that they bring together their neighbors and also people that mean well for the people of Somalia, for the growth of Somalia, and for forward for development of Somalia, and also for forward thinking leaders in Somalia to be able to come together and come back to their senses, so that they can be able to rein on a few elements in Mogadishu that continue undermining the very essence of human life, coexistence, good neighborliness, and also a show of mutual respect for our own sovereignty and their own sovereignty medium. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And this person they did send from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Qatar to come to Somalia. He's been in Somalia since I think on Saturday, trying to mediate, because we know also over that election impasse that Somalia had. So hopefully, but I think that should be left to Somalis to discuss and decide by themselves on how they want to go about it. And this person also, as the one of the key leaders of the mediation between the Afghanistan government, the US, and the Taliban, and we've seen how those talks have been going and the dynamics of that up in the Middle East. So I'll not even get into that. And so he came to Kenya, and he seems to have talked Somalia into returning the diplomatic ties. And as Dr. Matsanga there has pointed out clearly, Kenya did not sever the ties with Somalia. Somalia did so last year in December, 15th of December last year. But we know also the role that Qatar has played in fueling this acrimony. I mean, the facts are out there in Somalia. So I don't know, but I think it's a good thing. Jeevan Karanja.
Yeah, thank you very much, Miriam. It's a very a great decision. It's a meritocratic decision that we celebrate, because if the two countries are going to stay the way we are, taking ourselves to Hague, exposing ourselves to international court of justice because of issues that we can settle amicably within mechanisms that are in place, then shows that we are not heading on the right direction in terms of our diplomatic ties. And the people who was doing this is the government of Farmajo and the people around him. And maybe they wanted to portray themselves or to redeem some political points from this kind of arrangements. But unfortunately, we have seen also the Mr. Farmajo, president of Somalia, changing tune recently, and even allowing the people of Somalia to have an election, and though he was considering extending his term of office. Therefore, I think maybe these talks from Qatar and so on, maybe these are some of the benefits that even have made Farmajo to rethink his decision of extending his term of office and allowing the people of Somalia to have a democratic space. Because at the end of the day, the people who are going to suffer is the ordinary citizens of Somalia, not Farmajo himself per se. Because with this conducive environment that was there for corruptions, for other bad behaviors to thrive, the people are benefiting is the government, but the ordinary citizens who are left without anything in return. Therefore, it's a very good gesture. And we have also seen calls by the Somali trying maybe to join. They want to join the East African community. Therefore, maybe this part of the process, if they can have a good diplomatic ties with Kenya, then in future we might even consider them being part of the larger East African community, because we want a vibrant community where we can grow together as a region, because at the end of the day, we have so much in common in this East African region. We have so much in common in Africa than what divides us. Therefore, we need to look at what is it that brings us together. What is it that can bring these countries, our neighbors, together? What is the thing that we have in common that can make us grow together, rather than concentrating on what is dividing us? Because some of these issues that Somalia was accusing Kenya for, like training of militias and so on, they are things that don't hold any water. These are small things, negligible accusations that don't hold anything. Therefore, at the end of the day, we can look at the bigger picture of how we can benefit in terms of business, in trade, cooperation, and so on. That is the way to go, so that we ensure that as a people we grow together economically and politically and social cohesion. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And also in terms of our concerted effort in the fight against Al-Shabaab, which Qatar in 2019 was accused because the ambassador to Qatar in Somalia was recorded in an audio saying there's a bomb that went off in Mogadishu, and he was captured in an audio saying that Qatar actually sponsored that attack because they wanted to scare people like UAE and others who are also showing some interest in Somalia, because Somalia right now is beginning to be a little bit stable. And so all these other players have a lot of interest in Somalia, and so Qatar does not want its interest there to be threatened in Somalia. So yes, well, I'm sure, the coming together now of these countries, Kenya and Somalia, is very important, the diplomatic ties in the fight against Al-Shabaab. But Qatar has been sponsoring some of these things, allegedly. Samuel Tawish.
Thank you so much, Miriam, for that question and discussion we are having this afternoon. Miriam, everything that is happening now between Kenya and Somalia really tells you that primarily Somalia did not have the password to the reason or to the grounds as to why they are severing ties with Kenya. That's why you see we've held a thorough campaign, as Punchline Africa TV and on different other platforms, to actually speak to the mischief of Qatar and Turkey and other countries who are actually funding and micromanaging Somalia in as far as her relationship with Kenya is concerned. And that is why you see the latest move could not have come as a surprise to some of us, because again, it has just happened barely minutes or hours after the Qatar leadership actually met with President Uhuru Kenyatta, and I think they came to a realization. We've been talking to Somalia, we've been talking to the leadership of Somalia, and trying to talk to the leadership of Qatar and Turkey and others who, to some extent, we believe have had interest and play a bigger role to the kind of conflict that we are having in Somalia, and to the extension with which Somalia is trying to have this sour relation with Kenya. Remember, Kenya has really paid an ultimate sacrifice and price in as far as seeing Somalia where it is today in terms of restoring peace and stability in Somalia. They have sent in troops, dating back from the year 2011 up to now. So many Kenyan soldiers have died in Somalia soil just trying to pacify that region and see how stability can be restored. That is not to say other players in the region like Uganda and others have not actually played their part, but essentially it tells you Kenya and Somalia sharing the biggest part in as far as border is concerned. And most of the Somali people actually are staying in Kenya, some of them as refugees, some of them actually being successful business people running their affairs here in the country. It tells you that Somalia had more to lose than Kenya in as far as this bad blood is concerned. And Kenya being a good neighbor, being a good brother or sister, if I should put it that way, to Somalia, I think they have not held any misgiving or any grudge as to why not to actually revisit and see how they can get back to normalcy in as far as relationship is concerned. And that is why you see President Kenyatta in himself, through his administration, saying, I do not have any reason at all to say no to any rapprochement from Somalia, because we did not have any issue in the first place. You get it? So basically what I'm trying to say, Miriam, is that we need to see more of this kind of advocacy happening. We need to see more of these rapprochements happening so that Kenya and Somalia can continue to live together as they have always actually did in the past. Mm-hmm. Remember even that move by the Kenyan government to have refugees who mostly are actually drawn from Somalia, those in Dadaab and Kakuma camp, go back to Somalia. What does it portend for Somalia? In fact, for Somalia, even their governments initially, when they are forming their government, they did it, and they have always done it in Kenya, because Somalia was not actually habitable for them. It was not comfortable for them to actually even conduct an election or even select a government for their own. Mm-hmm. It is Kenya that has given them that opportunity. Kenya has given that accommodation and room to be able to put their house in order. So it will be in their best interest to see into it how they can continue maintaining the relationship between Somalia and Kenya. So moving forward, I think I should acknowledge the effort that has been put forth by Dr. David Masanga through Punchline Africa TV, trying to speak to President Farmajo, trying to speak to the Qatar administration and even Turkey, in the sense that we do not want to see this kind of conflicts that do not have any foundation, they do not have any basis, including the maritime dispute that now is at the ICJ. We want to see such kind of cases actually brought back home so that the leaders can sit at the comfort of State House, or even in a conference, or even in a boardroom in Nairobi or in Mogadishu or anywhere they will choose, even if it's in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, and agree on some of the contentious issues regarding the maritime dispute. In that we do not want to see ourselves as Africans, every time we disagree on a very small small thing. We want to drag ourselves to these international entities instead of us sitting down together as neighbors and brothers and finding a solution before even we call an outsider, quote unquote, to come and help us define our fate as actually a region. So I laud that resolution by Somalia and Kenya's response to that effect, that they are ready to actually bring things to normalcy. It's actually a good gesture coming from President Farmajo himself, Qatar government, and President Uhuru Kenyatta in reciprocation of that move. Miriam, I submit.
Okay, thank you so much. Dr. Joseph Nyanchama.
Oh, thank you, Miriam. First of all, let me tell my fellow panelists that, an Indian mother, when she begins to serve food, she begins from herself and ends with herself. But an African mother will serve the children and she finds that the food is finished. So she goes hungry. What do I mean? I mean, I need to begin from you, Miriam, and the fellow panelists. And I want to confess, I want to give a testimony. When I joined the discussion of Punchline Africa, Professor can bear witness. The discussion I got on that material day was about Somalia.
I remember.
I found Kirimi Douglas talking. I asked the professor later, if that boy finds Farmajo, he would tear him into pieces. Professor Nyari laughed and he never even answered me. What am I saying, friends? I give credit to you because honestly, because I have realized that you are giving credit only to Qatar and others, and you've forgotten yourself. You are like the African mother. So I need to thank you anyway for this. You have agitated this. Actually, if you look through the YouTube of Punchline Africa, what dominates on your discussion is Somalia. That is why, sincerely, I want to thank you through your stewardship, Miriam, and the fellow panelists, Tawish, Douglas, and Wesonga for the good work, of course, without forgetting the chairman, Dr. Masang. Let me come now to your question, Miriam. We need to laud Somalia. I view as a Christian now, Somalia is like a prodigal son. You know the story? Now the son has realized his problems, that he was wrong. You know what the prodigal son said? Why do I stay out with the strangers when my father has abundant food? Welcome on board, Farmajo. And in fact, where I come from, if a person who has done wrong runs to you and embraces you, the fight now becomes between you and the one chasing him. I want to appeal to Douglas, Kirimi and others to forgive very much now that he has run to us and embraced us. Let's embrace the brotherhood and build the region for the sake of the youth, which goes with the spirit of the recently concluded Pan-African Youth Conference on Renaissance for Africa. I thought, Miriam, that was the spirit. And, you need to read it in that context. Amazing, This piece is critical to the conference that took place on Wednesday.
Reports suggest that there is no prenup in place to divide
now,
which includes properties in 5 states.
Allow me, Miriam, to share with the panelists one of the most poet I love. His name is the English poet John Donne. Just made a few statements that we are all brothers. I want to quote him: "No man is an island." That means Kenya is not an island, Somalia is not an island. No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. Any man's death diminishes me because I'm involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It dulls for thee. End of quote. That means, my fellow panelists, each one of us in Africa is a brother. Do not wish death for any other, because the death of any African brother or sister is a pain to all of us. Now that Varimacho has come on board, we need to support. And in fact, I wish also to thank the President of the Republic. You know, he has such a strength that people don't know. He's so tolerant, very peaceful man. If it was another man, he could have been driven by emotions and even begin war. As our president, we need to thank him for that particular will. Lastly, Miriam, there is something people are asking. Why do you think Qatar is turning around to begin to reconcile the two nations? Kenya never severed the relationship. They are only instructing Somalia, please go back, as what Dr. Masanga said. There is a saying I usually tell people, you can be very secretive, but you have no secrets. Do you know that you can be very secretive, but you have no secrets? Qatar thought they were very secretive, the way they were doing things with Somalia, but they realized they had no secrets. Already they had been known, and as intelligent nation, they moved quickly to conceal the embarrassment later that they were sponsoring Somalia to destabilize the East African region. That is what below us, my East African citizen fellows. Let us support this unity for the better big of brotherhood. Because as per the spirit of the Pan-African Renaissance Conference of the Youth under the auspices of Punchline Africa TV, we need to embrace this. And this is what we discussed.
All right.
I submit, Miriam.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. About 21 minutes past the midday here in Nairobi.
We have lost the doctor. Miriam?
Yes.
We have lost you.
No, he has.
Oh, you lost me?
No, he has. No, we captured everything you said. Dr.
We've lost Miriam.
No, we've not lost anybody from our side. Yes, Doc, I wanted us to get into the video.
I can't hear you.
Oh, Miriam, I was not being heard.
No. You are okay. I think it's doctor's side. As we are good here, we heard everything you said, Dr.
Right, now I can hear.
Yes, Doctor. All right, so there is a video that has really excited a lot of Africans from Zambia on agriculture. And in February 2021, Zambia's agriculture minister restricted imports of onions, potatoes, and every other from other countries, saying local farmers can meet the demand for vegetables and other vegetables in that country. The ruling affects companies such as South Africa-owned supermarkets and that operate in Zambia and import vegetables from South Africa. But outside
production, I can't hear. Miriam?
It is you, Doctor. It is on your side. You have to fix it. All right. We apologize. Challenges with technology. I think he must have touched the wrong button there. That is affecting his reception and the audio. So there's a video about a young lady from Zambia who was saying perhaps it is a time we started looking at how we look at agriculture, especially in regards to young people in this continent. So we do have a video for that. It will play and then we will continue with this conversation.
Okay, so we want to close it at this point, but if you feel you have a very burning issue, just one burning issue.
Yeah, this is a copy by, if you can have the camera, this is done by FOL. If you show this to a young person, a young woman like me, and say go into agriculture, are they going to go into it? Definitely not. I told the World Bank the same thing. If you want to make agriculture attractive, if you want to make it sexy, start by publishing it. Get a young person who's attractive, put them on this picture. I said this in Harare last year to say, can we try to make agriculture sexy? This organization, the UN, the FAO, whoever is involved in the agriculture sector, the advertising, whoever you are, make agriculture sexy. This is the beginning point of making it attractive to the young people.
Right.
If you, the organizers, the frontiers, the people who are supposed to lead us are putting such pictures, what are you sending to a person, a young person from the village? You pick this picture and like, oh, this is what we're living. But if they see a young person here, very attractive like me, and you put me here, even the young men in the village, they'll be like, wow, I want to be like her. I mean, where am I going to find this woman? Let me join agriculture. I mean, this is practical. That's what we need to be talking about. So please, my request is that next time we're going to have such a conference, whatever is coming up, you can look for me on Facebook, Tamara Happy Face Kaunda. Put my picture there and say she's a farmer. Yeah, and a medical doctor, yeah? Well, most people, they like to see me, oh, don't look at like she's farming, she's a doctor. No, I want to be called a farmer. Right. Because the problem we have in Africa is hunger. We don't need drugs. I work in a hospital, and I can guarantee you 80% of the diseases, why we're losing young people is because of poverty. So why then can't we give them the nutrition they need instead of the drugs? That's my switching from medicine to agriculture. So that's what we should be looking at. Another thing, she's from Singapore, I'm from Zambia. The borrowing rate in Zambia is about 35% to 40%. You can say, yes, I don't have, I don't want to go to the bank or whatever. No, I've tried going there. But why should I to make such a suicidal decision to go and borrow at a 40% rate? It's impossible. I want to go to the government to borrow. They say, no, you need to work for the government for 2 years. But I need the project running. I've got people following me. They need to come to the farm and see what I'm doing. So funding, we're not looking for charity. Like, I was quite offended by the doctor lady who said, no, farming is not a charity. Yes, we're not looking for charity. But if you can give me $10,000 at a rate of maybe 5%, 2%, like the Chinese come, they come with a lower percentage, and they come and invest here and they beat us. I cannot compete with her even if she came to Zambia, because she borrowed maybe from Singapore at a lower rate. But look at me in Zambia, 40%, that's suicide.
Right.
So we can talk and talk and talk, but let's create an enabling environment for the African youth. Because we can't have so much vast land, yet we're languishing in poverty. Netherlands cannot export to Africa if they don't feed their own people. Yes, I'm happy the young people are exporting, but why are we leaving our people? Why are they dying? African graves are the richest because we've lost so many young people to poverty and hunger. So we need to really critically look at agriculture as the oxygen for economical in Africa. It should not be a backbone. I can break my backbone today and I can live on. But if I don't have oxygen, I can't live on. So agriculture should be the oxygen of the economy in Africa. Thank you.
What a way to actually powerfully finish this conversation. One, make agriculture sexy in order to attract young people into it. And number two, start seeing agriculture as the oxygen of our economies and not just the backbone of our economies. From our teams right here, we want to say thank you for watching this CNBC Africa special. I'm Eugene Anangwe.
Okay, so we want to close it at this point, but if you feel you have a very bad...
Okay, thank you so much. So that is a young farmer from Zambia, also a medical doctor, and she's saying the problem in Africa, we have in Africa is hunger, and we do not need medicine, we just need good food.
It's true. Medium, the oxygen is agriculture, is food. In fact, if you give a man food, will there be a disease? Why does the disease come from? When you are eating nicely, you are eating your greens, we've sowed, put it in, peeling your matoke, ugali. If you have it plenty, will you be sick? If you have just mosquitoes away, will you be sick? No. I think the younger girl has a point. People have been driven. The pictures that these NGOs write on books, you get my point? You go and get a picture of an old woman, an old man. Why is it that international NGOs go to poor places, yet Africa also has good places? Why don't they show us their poor places in Europe? Is there no ghetto in Europe? Have you ever been to Romania? Do you know people who are called gypsies? Gypsies. You remember there is a nightclub in West Nairobi. Nairobi what? This place, Westlands. I am sure Tawish knows it. It's called gypsy. The gypsies traverse the whole of Europe. They come on your land in a football club, they just pour their cars, caravan and stick there. They had no homes. Why don't they show us those people? But what the younger girl is saying here is change the format you package for Africa. The youth are ready to go to agriculture. Make it sexy. She's a doctor, medical doctor. If younger people see her on the magazine, they will follow that. Younger people seeing Matanga on the magazine. The first thing they will criticize is my big cheeks. And then what? Oh, you are fat. You see, but if you put a lady like that, she will sell agriculture. I agree with her. That is my take. Quick one. Finish.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Daniel. Daniel Wasonga. Well, Douglas Kirimi.
Yes, Miriam.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I had my connection a bit. Okay. Yeah, I think I agree absolutely with what Dr. Matsanga says. For a very, very long time, we've been portrayed as maybe a people who are lacking in so many aspects. But whenever they paint that picture, they don't also show us whatever is happening on the other side of the world. Actually, a month ago, I was reading some article which shows how people are living in the US. Even don't go far, here in South Africa, we do have so many white people who are actually not living so good life, living below $1 a day. So I think by every right, as Africans, we should be proud of ourselves and we should be proud of what we can be able to do. Until we do, then we cannot be able to change the perspective and the lenses by which we are perceived by the outside world. I submit.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. And I think I don't know if you're able to see the poster she was showing, because it had an older lady on the cover, and to encourage people to get into agriculture. And she was saying, if you keep putting older people like this on the to advertise for agriculture or to have people be interested in agriculture, then you're missing the point, because there are a lot of young people who really have the know-how. Even in agriculture, technology has really advanced, so you can't just go continuing to do agriculture as we used to know it. So a lot of younger people want to enter and want to really engage in agriculture as a means of entrepreneurship, as a means of self-employment, as a means of work. There are no works out there. So she's saying, if you keep putting these old people here and use them to make agriculture attractive, then you're missing the point. We need to find a way to have our young people embrace agriculture. So I think that was her point. Did she drive the point home for you, Douglas Kirimi? Javan?
Yeah, thank you very much, Miriam. That point was taken home well. It was well packaged, and it's high time as Africans we embrace agriculture with both hands. because it's a productive, it is a job creation avenue. It is also a food secure adventure that we can protect our people from hunger and starvation and from malnutrition. Therefore, it's high time that the government puts in good measures and the right skills and the labor force to ensure that we go to ensure that we go to agriculture and do with the new, we get the new technology in terms of labor and so on. Therefore, I'm quite in agreement that agriculture, and we say in Kenya that agriculture is the backbone of our economy. And you know, Miriam, when you go around, you'll see that it's only in Africa where we have the land mass and unutilized land. Therefore, we have a lot of virgin land across Africa that can be put in production, and we make our people food secure. Therefore, I agree that with that, we are getting in the right direction. But to achieve that, Miriam, we must make agriculture look precious, look ruggedy, look sexy, as Dr. Masanga is saying, because most young people don't get to agriculture because of how it has been the perception out here that agriculture is not well paying, that agriculture is for those people who didn't go to school, that agriculture is for those people who don't have anything else to do. Therefore, we need to repackage and come up with ways to ensure that young people get to this industry, and so that we can even create in terms of job creation. Miriam, when you walk around these areas, like where I am, you'll see that people are turning into agriculture. But the problem is, we need also as governments to ensure that the issue of value addition, so that when you have your tomatoes and potatoes, they will not perish if the market is not there. But you'll have a process where you can turn them into tomato sauce or into some crisps, and we export them directly. Therefore, at the end of it all, the needs of value addition and the processing part of agriculture should be put into place, so that we ensure that we don't go to waste, especially when the market turns, because you know these things will depend on the demand and supply. Therefore, the market side of it, and in terms of production and giving farmers some incentives, I think will go a long way in ensuring that we as Africans, we as young people, we get into agriculture, and the government should ensure that instead of focusing more on things that will not will not create a lot of employment, the government, like I saw in Kenya, the Kulalu projects, these are some of things that the government should bring in on board, so that we have food, we have people who are employed, and we get money. And even you'll go a long way in ensuring that the crimes that we have in the country, the insecurities, some of things will be dealt with when we have food and when people have money in the pocket. And that will come if we go into agriculture, and when we invest not only in agriculture, but with modern agriculture, modern advancement of technology and so on, so that we get and we combine all other aspects of technological, agriculture, industries, and so on, so that we grow together. Therefore, I'm in agreement with that young woman that it's high time that we repackage what agriculture is, so that it no longer looks like an old age adventure, but to look like a modern tech digital way of doing things. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And, you know, as I said there earlier, I think a lot of younger people would understand the modern technological advancements even that has been made in agriculture. So if we just repackaged this very well, maybe we'll have a lot of them come in. And something that you mentioned, Javan, about us having the best even weather patterns in the whole world, in Africa, and the best arable lands that we have, that we could just work on it and feed ourselves. And yet we still receive a lot of relief food from outside, from countries that are even deserts, like used to be deserts, like Israel, like Egypt. Something is not right. Tawish is not there. Dr. Joseph Nyanchama.
Tawish is here, Miriam.
All right, go ahead, Tawish. You have to be present.
You're saying, Miriam, it is indeed an irony that, like my friend Javan has put it, Africa is endowed with, very fertile soil, adequate rainfall, and favorable climate to do farming. But more often we receive, of course, food donation from other countries, and worse still, countries that do not have the same soil as fertile as ours, or adequate rainfall, or even favorable climate. What does it speak about it all? It is about laziness, Miriam, and I think our priorities are also not right. If I may just give example, Miriam, for instance, when you, for example, take, for example, a venture like, say, watermelon farming, for instance, and Dr. Masanga will be in a good position even to tell us about this, because Dr. Masanga's native, that is in Uganda, there's a place called Moroto, and there's another place called Iganga, and there's another place called Namayemba. All these places, I mean, the people in that place really do watermelon farming in big number. And more often you find Kenyan business people or Kenyan farmers, Kenyan people going to buy watermelon from Uganda and coming to sell it over here in Kenya. What is the reason why, for example, Kenyan people cannot as well do that watermelon farming in Kenya, or even banana farming in Kenya? Yet we have enough soil, enough land and good soil to do the same with adequate rain, with favorable climate, yet we cannot do that. I mean, the problem we have had from time immemorial is about priorities that are upside down, and also, I think, a miscalculated kind of curriculum that only exposed learners to thinking that you need to get a white-collar job for you to be sustainable in your life, or for you to progress in life. But you see, when you get into agriculture, it is one of those ventures that has hugely been actually sidelined. People think like it is for people who did not do well in school, or people who didn't go to school completely, or for the elderly people. That is why you see the energetic and young generation, most of them are running to urban centers. They are running to towns. They are looking for white-collar jobs. When someone finishes school, they have finished college or university, the only thing on their concentration is, how can I get a white-collar job? They cannot think of how they can venture into farming, for example, something that does not maybe necessarily need even a bigger qualification or any qualification at all to do. Most of it, you just need to copy or learn from another neighbor or another person who is doing it, and then you are good to go. It's not something that needs a bigger skill. It's something that you can learn as you go by, and yet it has bigger proceeds. I think, Miriam, we need to try and also educate our people on the need to tap onto this potential that is agriculture, so that we can see more people actually going into that direction as compared to only thinking about white-collar job. And it's unfortunate. You have even seen stories of people who are going to, say, even this Qatar, they're going to these Western countries to seek for white-collar jobs, only for them to come back in coffins. Why is it so? Yet what someone is going to work for, say, for example, in Qatar, will be about 80,000 Kenya shillings a month, when you can only spend 50,000 Kenya shillings in an acre of watermelon farming in Kenya and get about 150 to 200,000 Kenya shillings in a record 3 months. That is 90 days, Miriam. Isn't it surprising for you? And you have a person here who goes sacrificing almost everything, detaching even from family. They think that when you go there, they're going to heaven, they're going where everything is actually just flowing freely. I mean, there's a time we need to reset our thinking. We need to reset on how we have always viewed farming or agriculture as one of those potential ventures that can actually help uplift the lives of our people, if not the youth. Miriam, I submit.
Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. Tawish started there by saying either it's laziness or our priorities are upside down. Dr. Joseph Nyanchama, which one? What is ailing us? Why do we still rely on relief food while we can actually feed ourselves? And this is very important, because President Uhuru Kenyatta also has this as one of his agendas in the Big Four agenda, food security. How can we achieve this as a country and as a continent?
Miriam, just before Dr. Nyanchama comes in, I request with your latitude just to add on that point, just before Nyanchama comes in. Leave alone the question of good soils or wrong priorities, or even people being lazy. You'll ask yourself, Miriam, why is it that when heavy downpour occurs in Kenya or in Africa today, we are crying of flooding? I mean, we have not had any initiatives that are geared towards actually storing this water that can be used during dry seasons or can be used for irrigation. Mm-hmm. When we get into the dry season, the cry is almost the same, but this time around is about drought, that we do not have water, or animals or people are dying of hunger because we do not even have water to drink, let alone water to do cultivation. Okay. So what does it speak about us? Mm-hmm. That is why the point of the priorities that I was talking about, the question of being priorities being upside down. That is why today, you see, we cannot have initiative, even NGOs, empowering people to do agriculture, even to store and tap this water to be used for irrigation purpose, so that Africa, or Kenya to be particular, can have enough or sufficient food for our own consumption and even for export. But they continually want us to wail in poverty so that we can rely on them, so that they can continually micromanage us, so that we can always look up to them as our big brother. Okay. Miriam, I submit.
Very well. Thank you so much, Samuel Tawish. Dr. Joseph Nyanchama.
Thank you, Miriam. I think if you refer to my paper I presented in the conference, which I sent to Michelle, by the way, was talking of how you can rebuild Africa through competitive advantage. In that paper, I just said that a mere existence of raw materials like minerals, land, fertile land, does not give you a competitive advantage. You must convert it into commercial products or services so that you qualify to compete on a competitiveness forum. Coming to what Dr. Masanga said, and you ran certain clip there about this girl in wherever.
Zambia.
She's right. Why do you put old women? The question is, who puts the old women in farms, in pictures? Let me tell you, Miriam, that is the work of NGOs like Oxfam. You said they wanted to depict Africa as a dying continent so that they attract funding so that this particular network of fraudsters continue to gain from it, first. Secondly, make Africa depend on them so that they take away all its natural resources. That depictment is the role of the West. I'm telling you, they depict Africa, just run the strategy they have. But coming to your question, I think as the wish I said, we need to change this narrative. And I wish you get access to the small brief presentation I made on this competitive advantage. I have addressed all this there. I was telling the youth, and I agree with the girl absolutely. You know what the girl is saying? If you make farming attractive, it will attract people. When I speak in conferences, because I do, I warn people, if you are not prepared well, do not dress smartly. Because you will attract people and they will call you upon to give comments. And then you expose yourself. The guy is right. He is saying, if you want to attract clients like potential farmers who are young people, you must make that aspect of business attractive. Finally, the only way, which is summarized in one statement, is to make farming a business. When you make farming a business, there are all protocols of competing it as a business, advertisement, technology, and all of that. So the one word is this: make farming a business, and you will solve all of the problem the girl is raising. I submit, Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much. Doctor?
For me,
do we go to the other? Yes, in Tanzania. But I think you mentioned that at the beginning, Doc. You addressed.
Yeah, we finished Tanzania.
Yes.
The only thing left now is South Africa.
Yes, what is happening in South Africa and the South
Africa and the Bill Gates. That was a very big story this week, where Bill Gates separated with the wife.
They divorced, yes.
I have a clip here which is very devastating. So we shall spare that for next week. But South Africa, simply, there's a problem. As I explained it yesterday, I think Tawish knows it. All of us who were on the show last night. There's a very big problem. And Miriam, it is again what I told you. I said, and I said on this show, that if you have a revolutionary party in Africa, be prepared. Watakunyongwa. They will break you down. I think Ramaphosa has lost it. They're all fighting each other. Let me leave the panel to make their submissions on ANC.
All right. The South Africa's president's attempts to reform the ruling African National Congress Party received a massive boost on Wednesday when his most powerful adversary within the organization was suspended. President Cyril Ramaphosa has struggled to impose his authority on the ANC since taking power in 2018 and to purge corrupt officials from its ranks. An ongoing judicial inquiry has uncovered evidence of systematic misadministration and theft, while scandals involving COVID-19 relief funds have caused outrage. Ace Magashule, the Secretary General of ANC, was served with a suspension letter after refusing to comply with an order to step down after being charged by public prosecutors in November in connection with the allegedly fraudulent $18 million project to find and remove asbestos from homes in disadvantaged neighborhoods in the Free State province. So Magashule has already been charged by public prosecutors. And I think President Cyril Ramaphosa last week appeared on the inquiry that is looking into the issue to do with corruption with former President Jacob Zuma, and President Cyril Ramaphosa was one of the people who gave their testimonies there. He was required to appear, and he appeared on behalf of ANC party, which he is the leader now. And because ANC has been accused of engaging with in a lot of corruption, so that is where we are. So this person also wrote to remove President Cyril Ramaphosa as the leader of the party. And if Cyril Ramaphosa is not the leader of the party, that means he cannot be the president of South Africa, because he enjoys that position due to his position as the leader of ANC party. But the Secretary General's letter was not effective because they need all members to meet and discuss and make that resolution. So that is where we are in a nutshell in South African politics. I don't know if anybody has anything to add to that. Daniel Wesonga. Anybody, just speak on it as we conclude. Jivan? Yeah.
I think...
Yes, go ahead. Whoever is talking, go ahead.
I think, Miriam, you see, the issue here is the president is now warning that any official from ANC who is involved in corrupt activities will face the same music. At what point did the president realize that there are corrupt activities within the party? To a certain extent, he needs to take responsibility. That if you take time to let something which is not correct to take root, to that extent, you take also responsibility. Magashule is not an ordinary person, he's a Secretary General. And you saw him also issuing a counter suspension of the head of state. What was he trying, which message was he trying to send? Also to cause confusion. In fact, it's like what the former Prime Minister was saying here in Kenya, that muki subtract, na sisi tuna subtract. If you add, we also add. So that there is that conflict he wants to create in the party. Don't forget, Magashule has a supporter who's an outsider, who's the former president. There is no leader in Africa who has no supporters. Whether you are labeled a thief, they will tell you the thief has honors. So there is that challenge now in South Africa within the ANC. It is now split. You cannot solve the problem of ANC just on the platform of corruption alone. You need to go deeper. realizing that there are factions who are supporting their people. So the president needs to move very cautiously. Magashure has already been charged in court and he has been given a bond up to next year. The case will be mentioned next year. For a politician, what do you think will happen between now and next year? This is where sometimes the courts in Africa don't look at the bigger picture. Do you know why, by the way, I admired the nominee Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya for sitting extra hours? Miriam, do you know what she said? If I did not sit the way I know the presidential elections will cause friction, the consequences could have been imaginable. This is what any lawyer will tell you, that consequentialism is a theory of justice. That you look at the consequences first that will befall a nation before you act. A mere issuing of statement by head of state could in fact even fuel more factions and a heat. My appeal to the president of South Africa is to dig deeper and find wisdom how to go around it. Otherwise, ANC is going to split completely. And do you know the problem in South Africa, unlike Kenya? Where have you had that delegates meet and pass a resolution to demote or sack a president? For me, and I said it last evening, they need to review the model of sacking a president, because one day it will put the nation into a crisis that will never be reversed. I submit, Miriam.
Thank you so much. Dr. Joseph Nyanchama, I've always looked at the South African democracy and the model there as perhaps one of the most, it's working for them very well. I don't know. The proportional representation, that is what they have. I kind of like it, but you're saying it might put them in a crisis one day. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Anybody else who has something to add to what the doctors have said?
Yeah.
I think, Miriam, Mr. Magashule who is the Secretary General of ANC in South Africa, must take responsibility. Responsibility in the sense that when your party, your formation, a party that you believe in its ideals rather, has passed a resolution that you need to step down. Anyone who has been named adversely mentioned on corruption allegations needs to step down from their position to pave way for investigation. It is counterproductive for the Secretary General to actually go against the party's decision. In fact, it was made by the National Executive Committee, if I'm not wrong, that any member found within its ranks and file must actually pave way for investigation. What S. Magashule should have done was just to step aside and allow investigation to be concluded so that maybe he can come back or he can stay away altogether. Because in any case, it cannot be possible that instead of him stepping down, is now actually even threatening to suspend the president himself. I do not understand how the constitution of South Africa really works, that a Secretary General of a party can actually attempt even to recall a sitting head of state by virtue of the wrangles they have within their own political party. So, but by and large, I think this question of corruption that has been eating countries, it's been eating Africa, is what is happening in ANC. And when President Ramaphosa took over from Zuma, you remember those days what he did? He did say that he promises to actually carry out a radical surgery on corruption matters in as far as South Africa, and beginning with his own party ANC is concerned. So I laud the effort of President Ramaphosa, but again, we must be very careful that there are no any external forces which are trying to use these, scaffolds within the ANC party to try and separate or make it disintegrated completely. Miriam, I submit.
Okay, thank you. Javan, you had something you wanted to say? Okay, maybe not. All right, I think that is where we end our show this afternoon. It's almost 1 p.m. here in Nairobi. Thank you so much, Samuel Tawish. Thank you, Jevan Karanja. Thank you, Douglas Kirimi, who left the conversation a little earlier. Thank you, Dr. Joseph Nyanchama, and of course, thank you, Dr. David Matsanga. This has been Unfiltered, the truth about Africa. And we've looked at some of the topics that we've been covering over the week. My name is Miriam Mugutu. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you here on Sunday, God willing, with the Africa Showdown. Bye-bye for now.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.